Okay, so welcome to Revenue Growth with Digital for Established Businesses. We are discussing post-pandemic strategy plan for outreach and growth. So I've already done a session wherein I have addressed product redefinition, offer alignment, and promotion. And I'll leave the link for the video somewhere here, and you can have a look at that. But I'll just quickly summarize what we had covered there. And looking at the situation, how it has changed, we are looking at realigning our products and services to the market. And that essentially involves, finding out ways that we can connect with our customers and clients in a manner which is pretty much in sync with the times. So, it shouldn't be a case wherein you're talking about marketing your product, but you seem completely aloof from the reality that today people are not able to freely move physically, and there are constraints with respect to physical experience of products and services, and there has to be ways in which they can interact with your product or service in a digital manner. So this exercise is basically about that, and in my last video I've covered that in pretty much length. So the first step is basically product redefinition, wherein you look at what your product is and you redefine it in a manner that it is in sync with the times that we are in today. The second step is, of course, the offer, and we are talking about the offer in terms of how that offer can be aligned with the market, wherein it not only brings out the communication that is relevant with respect to the times, but it is adjusted in a manner that it connects in a much better way. So this will make more sense as we move forward, and I give you some examples from real business scenarios, and that will help us look at this in a completely different perspective. Now, coming at aligning. So when you look at align, basically when you're looking at different social media applications, you're looking at how you're going to marketing your product or service, you have to be in sync with the platforms that you are marketing your communication on. So your marketing will significantly differ as to how it's done on LinkedIn versus how it's done on Facebook. So when you create these assets, you have to look into that your offer and your redefinition is completely in sync with the social media channels or social media networks where you're going to promote your product or service. That aside, let's come to promote, and that's probably the simplest part. You create a campaign, load your credit card, and you have all the traffic that you need. So that's pretty much on that, and now we will move to quickly discussing some examples of that, and we will possibly look at how we can discuss this in a way that it is relevant to actual businesses. So talking about that, now you have these businesses where you redefine your product and service, and we look at specific scenarios. And when we talk about these scenarios, what we are looking at basically is, let's say if there's a clothing brand, right? And I'm sure you are aware that a lot of businesses where probably, I mean, not all, there is a huge chance that if you were comparing your products and services pre-COVID and post-COVID, what happens is there was a tendency to generalize your product because you were looking at a mass market. Probably, I don't know, it might be different in different cases, but most of the, let's say if we take example of a retail store, which is a clothing retail shop or a fashion retail shop, what happens is you're covering the entire length and breadth of the market. So you're targeting walk-ins, and you're looking at anyone who walks into your store does not go out without buying anything specific. However, the situation changes when you are marketing your retail store online, because you cannot market to everyone, or if you want to, you can do that, but it's not something that is recommended. So the ideal situation would be that you would look at specializing your focus on kids apparel, right? So let's say if this is an area of your competency and you are in retail business of fashion goods and you specialize on retail kids apparel, now it becomes very easy for you to reach the market and talk to right people about your products and services. So, this is basically the funnel approach, the sales funnel approach, wherein you qualify your customers specifically on one item, which is probably kids apparel. And once they come inside your funnel, you qualify them further and make a sale to them. Now, it's not that these people will not buy other things, but there is one single thread that you are looking at connecting with your customers, and it has to be very specific. So that's the example of a online, marketing for a retail store. And there we also need to touch the point that we are talking about online shopping and home delivery in a retail store, which might not be the thing that a retail store might be doing earlier. So now you can say that you can do online shopping, and there are so many ways in which you can encourage your customers to do online shopping, which might be, you might have your own e-commerce store, and if not, people could actually do a call on your mobile. If you want to do that, maybe they can do a WhatsApp call, they can do a Skype call, and probably you have a person who can do everything digitally rather than what a person would do when he's or she walks in. So get my idea there. So basically, somebody calls up on Skype on your retail store. There is a gentleman who takes the call, understands what the requirements of customers are, and then he walks around in the store and shows him all the stuff as he would be walking into the store. So this is a great experience which can be provided by many retail stores, and people would be thrilled to have something like that in place. And on top of that, you have cherry on the cake is when you can deliver that product directly to the customer's home. Now moving on to French language tuitions, and a lot of people might be doing French tuitions, and there were, earlier they were doing it in a physical manner. People were attending classes, and now more and more people want to do online classes on French. Now you might want to differentiate your business. Maybe you had some setup which kind of talked about culture of France, and how it is basically is so enriching and different from other cultures. You might be having some arrangement wherein people could come in and experience that culture or discuss that culture. Now you have to find a way to do that digitally, and there are so many ways to do it. You could actually do something like what I'm doing right now. You could do a call, you could do a broadcast, or you could do a live and basically congregate with people who are interested in French culture and talk about that. So you could even include a learning management system which basically enables learning, and anything that is related with learning and education. LMS is always a plus point that you can have, although there are challenges with respect to setting it up and implementation, but that's an investment that you got to do, because if you don't do it now, you would be rather thrown back as far as this evolution is concerned, wherein the businesses will get into this. They might face a lot of difficulties, but ultimately what we are looking at is that a lot of businesses will learn the intricacies of what is involved in the LMS and how they can utilize it better, and the businesses who will excel in this will basically end up much ahead in the race, and possibly talking and acquiring more customers and clients. So moving on to the next point, which is on personal fitness instructor specializing in weight loss. So when you talk about a physical instructor, you are pretty much aware that so far physical instructors were maybe in the gyms, or maybe they were talking to people directly at their homes. And if you are a personal trainer or a physical fitness trainer, it's very difficult to do that online now. But a lot of people are doing it, and you could basically redefine your service, in a way that it is specializing on weight loss, for example. And you could do Zoom-based sessions wherein you
connect with your client, you look at what he or she is doing and possibly give all the inputs on Zoom itself. Now, there might be a little bit of transition that is required, but when you look at this, what we are discussing is not just the ideas that you could implement in your redefinition, but also the ideas that you could put in your communication when you are marketing digitally. So we were looking at the first aspect of product service redefinition, and we will basically discuss the further items as we go forward, and look at how we can create an offer which is relevant. That would be the next session, and then follow on we'll look at aligning and promoting. So I hope you like this session, and if you have any questions, if you want me to handle your campaign or assist you in any manner, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I will leave a link. You can always book a time with me, and we can get into a quick strategy session in understanding what are your requirements and how we can beat all the challenges together. So that's for now, and thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.